Just because it's the apocalypse doesn't mean we can't have some fun. Today I'm going to show you how I brought these old retro video game cabinets back to life, and they work with solar power. Stick around. Okay, welcome back to Dave's post-apocalyptic world. Today I'm going to show you how we can retrofit these old video game cabinets and put new hardware in them so you can play hundreds of video games from back in the 80s. I remember you needed like rolls and rolls of quarters just to play for like an hour. I didn't have that kind of money when I was 10 years old, and today I can play games and I can play games and I can play games. So in this video we're going to pull them out and tear them apart because I want to show you how it's all put together. But also, if you look at this machine here, half the time that I turn it on, nothing happens. It's on a save game mode. So we're going to replace that unit and see if we can get it to work. Our goal is to have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playing on this machine before this video is over. And also, I was playing Double Dragon with a buddy the other day, and I noticed that he was able to pick up whips and bats from the enemies that we're putting down, and I wasn't able to. So there's a bad connection in here somewhere. So when we take it out and pull it all apart, we're going to try to trace exactly what the problem was, and in doing so, we're going to learn a lot together. Are you into it, kitty? Yay! Okay, so welcome to the inside of a video game machine. Boy, I feel like Tron right now. Okay, nobody under 40 got that. That's okay. So the reason it looks kind of complex in here is because, well, it used to be. You've got all these microchips and power supplies and wires and connections to the where you put the coins in. And over here, you've got walls and walls of microchips, which we're not going to use anymore. So we're overriding all of the old electronics, and all it is basically are these mini like Nintendo games that have 500 to 1,000 games in them. And here's where you plug in your monitor, here's where you plug in your joystick, and here's where you would plug in your power supply. So each one of these has its own new power supply and mini Nintendo game, and it's plugged into the monitors. So for the monitors, we just removed the old bulky picture tube and replaced it with some flat screen that you can get on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist for like 20 bucks. And it literally just pops right in. As far as the sound system, chances are you can use the original speakers from your video game system. It's okay if they're not perfect because we're trying to mimic the nostalgia of back in the 80s. And also when you get your wire harness, they actually have a couple of color-coded wires like you see here where they plug right into it. So it's a home system, it's the post-apocalypse, it doesn't have to be perfect, we're good to go. So chances are the lights in your old arcade machine are not working anymore, but that's okay because you probably wouldn't want them to anyway. They're using old inefficient light bulbs. What I like to do is just put in a basic LED strip light, and those cost like 10, 20 bucks, and I just kind of get in there and put it right next to the old lights and make sure it doesn't fall off. So now remember we were playing Double Dragon before and I wasn't able to pick up or punch anything. We're gonna dive in here and see maybe where the problem was and see if we can fix it. The first step is to identify the problem. Here we can confirm that the blue right punch button is not functioning. We're able to jump and kick with the other two buttons, but the blue button does nothing. Next, let's open the cabinet to see if we can identify the problem visually. This is where the mechanical switches of the joystick and buttons connect to all the wires that connect to the main computer. All wires seem to be intact, so we're going to perform a little experiment. These are the mechanical switches which send signals to the main computer. We want to know if the problem is in the wiring, the main computer, or a faulty switch. For this, we unplug the wires that go to the jump and punch buttons and swap them. Now when we play the game again, we see that when pressing the white jump button, we can now punch. The blue button, now connected to the jump function, still does nothing. This confirms that the wires and computer are fine, but the problem lies in the mechanical switch itself, which is good news. We can now remove the faulty switch with confidence. Since it's the apocalypse and there are no UPS trucks running, we'll put a pin in that for now. Next, we go to swap out the bad main computer in our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle machine. Just 2 screws and a metal strap hold it down. Here's to the monitor and the wire harness that connects to the joysticks and power supply. This looks like a good match. Our game works perfectly the first time, and we notice that this game console actually has more buttons and switches than it needs. Maybe we can borrow one of those buttons for our Double Dragon machine. Isn't it nice to see 2 machines helping each other out? Next, we reconnect all the wires to their original proper configuration. Now for the big test. Success! We see that all 3 buttons are now working, so we can kick, punch, and jump to our heart's content. So everything is buttoned up and put back together, and we are back in our solar-powered post-apocalyptic arcade. Each one of these retrofitted video game cabinets is powered by its own solar-powered generator. You might remember these when we cooked rice the other day, and there's a video of that right over here. These are awesome because you can plug your solar panel right in it, and then it shows you how much power there's left, just like on your phone, and you can plug any appliance into these. So even in the post-apocalypse, you can have your video arcade, you can cook your rice, whatever you can think of. So right now, I can't wait to play some of these machines and show you some of my favorite games. So what have we learned today? Well, we learned that after spending a full week locked up at home, I've got a lot of time on my hands. Also, we learned that even though it's the apocalypse, we can still have fun because we're always going to have video games and solar power. Also, we saw one video game machine today help out another video game machine so that they could both survive. There could be a lesson there. Thanks so much for watching this video. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Please press the subscribe and the like. If you like what you saw, I can bring you more videos. I would also love to hear your comments about what video games you like to play during the apocalypse, and also how you use solar panels to get by during these times. Thanks so much for watching my video. Until next time on Dave's Post-Apocalyptic World.